There is a quiet kind of survival that looks strong from the outside, a way of moving forward that seems productive, admirable, even inspiring. But beneath the calm surface, something remains untouched, unprocessed, unspoken. People call it moving on. But sometimes it is only distance A way of outrunning what still lives inside. And with every step forward, something follows. Memories, emotions, fears, all the pieces never given space to breathe. These pieces don't disappear, they simply wait. In the pauses, in the silence, in the moments when life slows down, enough for the heart to speak again. This is the darker side of moving on too quickly. The story of what happens when the past is carried into the future, untouched, unseen, and still aching to be understood. When the heart begins to understand, this closing chapter offers poetic reflection. It explores the meaning of healing, the way time changes shape once pain is acknowledged, and how integrating the past allows someone to move forward with softness rather than resistance. It ends with a gentle reminder that true closure is internal, not chronological, learning to sit with what hurts. This chapter explores healing and integration, not solutions or advice, but the internal psychological shift where a person stops escaping their pain and begins witnessing it. It examines compassion, emotional safety, and the quiet courage of staying present with the emotions they once avoided. The moment. Everything slows down. This chapter describes the turning point, a subtle or unexpected moment that disrupts emotional avoidance. A breakup, a quiet night alone, a familiar scent, a new relationship that brings old wounds forward. It explores the realization that moving on was only running away, and that the past still holds power. When the past demands to be felt, this chapter focuses on inner conflict, how buried emotions eventually reappear through patterns, triggers, relationships, and self-sabotage. It examines resistance, emotional numbness, and the fear of slowing down enough to confront pain. It explains how the body speaks when the mind refuses to listen. The psychology of emotional bypassing. This chapter breaks down the scientific and psychological mechanisms behind avoiding emotional processing. Dissociation, repression, displacement, identity shifts. It explains why the brain chooses speed over depth, closure over truth, and movement over meaning. It presents psychological research on unresolved trauma and its long-term effects. How wounds learn to hide. This chapter explores the origins of emotional avoidance. Childhood modeling, cultural expectations, and personal survival strategies show how people learn to suppress pain. It examines why certain individuals grow up believing that expressing hurt is unsafe or shameful, creating the foundation for unhealed moving on. The weight behind the smile. This chapter reveals how people often appear functional, composed, or even happy after a painful experience while secretly carrying emotional residue. It explores the emotional beginning, the subtle signs that someone hasn't truly healed despite moving forward, and the inner contradictions between their outward calm and inward turmoil.